guys, today I'm out at the lake, gonna do a bank session for a few hours before dark. But I decided to do a bank session because the rod that I broke a couple months ago, I finally got back today. Yeah, oh, broke my rod. So I'm gonna break it in and try not to break the rod and see if I can get some fish. But here we are at the lake. Looks pretty good. We got the wind coming right at us. Just got some snow overnight and hopefully we can get some fish. Still got some open water. Normally this time of the year, this lake is usually iced over completely and you can ice fish on it. But gonna take advantage of the warm winter and see if I can stick some fish. So I have two rods rigged up today. Those are my two rods right here rigged. And actually the only two lines I brought with me today. Normally I bring about 10 lines with me to the lake. But today I just have the fast glass and I also have the midge tip. And I'm gonna start out with the midge tip. And the reason why I like starting out with the midge tip this time of the year is because I like to fish my bugs fairly static. I usually do a lot better when I'm fishing really slow and for the most part static and just kind of using the waves to move my bugs and then slow pulls to get my bugs in. So that's the way I like to start. And then I also have the fast glass because even though a lot of the time I'm catching with a real slow static retrieve, sometimes I'll pick up fish just normally like the faster, more active retrieve. And since the fast glass will get the flies a little deeper and gonna sink faster, I usually have to get a faster retrieve to keep it up off the bottom when I'm bait fishing. So right now I have a midge tip on, I'm fishing fairly static, I have two buggers on. But first thing I do is I cast it out and I get the slack out of the line, get it all tight. And then all I'm doing is I'm doing a slow figure eight, really slow. So the line is getting pushed in from the waves right now and I'm just trying to keep up with that speed that the waves is pushing the midge tip line in. So even though I'm saying that I'm doing a static retrieve, there's still some pulling involved because I have to keep up with the speed that the line's being pushed in order to stay in contact with my flies. That's the whole point of me, these really slow figure eights. That's my way to keep in contact with my flies. And occasionally I have it sitting there and I'll do a long slow pull and stop. And what the slow pull does is when I do a long slow pull, it'll actually lift the flies and then let them fall back down, which should look fairly real, like a normal nymph will do that. It'll slowly swim to the surface and then slowly fall back down. So kind of that imitation is what I'm trying to achieve with this drift right here. The trouble I'm having though with casting, actually it's pretty windy and getting a good cast right now. I haven't been able to get a decent cast out. So here we go again, few nice long pulls to get it straightened out, and then I'm just keeping in contact with the waves, trying to keep the slack out of my line. And if I do, so I'm watching the line too, I'm feeling and I'm also watching the tip for any tightening or just if it looks different, feels different, and I'll set the hook. And after letting it sit for a few seconds, few minutes, I'll do a nice long slow pull to get that lifting motion in there. So right now I'm using this fairly static retrieve with buggers, but if you're fishing nymphs, you fish them pretty much exactly the same way. You just let them sit, keep the contact with your flies, and occasionally do the nice long slow pulls. So if it was summertime and I was fishing midges, this is the exact way that I would fish them. I can also put an indicator on there to fish static, but I like this way a lot better. I feel like I can get my flies a lot deeper and can control them a lot more. Unless they're really up in the surface, and then I'll go and put a dry dropper on or some type of indicator bug up top. But this time of the year when it's cold, late winter fishing, I do usually do pretty good with this technique, using fishing buggers, fairly static, letting them fall. But water could be warmer than I think it is too, and if this doesn't produce anything, I'll switch back to a more active retrieve and put on the intermediate and see how that goes. So what up, guys, pretty tough day, no fish. I was fishing nymphs, I was fishing buggers, fairly static, like the way I would fish nymphs normally, and no luck with that. Even switched up and fished them a little bit faster and still no luck. The only thing I can really think of is that the portion of the lake that I'm fishing today is really shallow. I walked out fairly far and I was still getting stuck with only like a 10-15 second count, and was touching bottom. And so I think I'm in a fairly shallow spot, and maybe that if I would have switched to a deeper portion of the lake, that might have helped out for this time of the year. Got me into some little bit of warmer water, but that's it.